Wow, hold on. Why is my camera not working? Why is my camera not working? I don't even know if my mic is working. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing. Testing 1 2. Testing. Cool. No software. No nothing. Just me. I was just talking to, or over on Facebook, just talking over on Facebook. I saved it, by the way. And this is going to piss some people off, and I don't really care. Basically, what I told them was I don't think if you're on welfare, you should be allowed to vote. And let me explain why. Well, all I have to say, for the same reason, I don't think Congress should be allowed to vote themselves a pay raise. If you have a vested interest in who you vote for financial reasons instead of civic reasons, then guess what? You should not be allowed to vote. Just like if you're in the military and you're also serving in Congress, I don't think you should be allowed to vote on appropriations. Why? Well, you have a vested interest in getting the newest and best, gadgets, which cost, millions of dollars. That's why I think the uniform crap came out. Oh, I think I'll look good in this. Then you got Millie who hasn't passed a PT test or a weight since who knows when. He wouldn't look good in a freaking. I need to get some coffee. It might motivate people to get off it. Also, this is going to sound cruel, but I'm to the point. I'm hoping someone shanks that Garcia asshole so I don't have to hear his fucking name again. He was an illegal immigrant. He was deported. Period. End of statement. End of story. He was found by 2 judges to be a member of MS-13. He saw another 12 judges in El Salvador. People don't know that. By the way, his block from being deported was for Guatemala, not El Salvador. He's not from Guatemala. The reason he was being blocked from Guatemala was because of rival gangs. Well, how do you have rival gangs? Oh, shit, you're in a gang. Yeah, I'm sick of hearing his name. Thinking about kicking in for a couple cartons of smokes just to see if we can get rid of him. And that may sound cruel, but I'm sick and tired of it. Hey, leftist, imagine if you fought for your country as hard as you do for other people's citizens. And then, of course, we have Rich over on Grumpy's videos. Rich, whose brother is a police officer. Rich, who doesn't know shit about guns or gun laws, told me he was 74 years old. And back in his day, you couldn't, all you had was hunting rifles. You couldn't own a assault rifle. Hate to tell you this, Rich, but back in your day, you could order a Thompson submachine gun through the fucking mail. You didn't need a permit to carry a handgun. It was truly free, Rich. So I'm thinking maybe your brother wasn't a good cop because he didn't teach you any laws. Ah, freedom. Miss it. Good news, though. We do have X back in Brazil. Excellent. Yeah, I wanted to try this without the software to see if it would be smoother, without the OBS Studios. Problem is, I can't play videos and stuff or sound effects. I don't know if sound effects will work. Hold on. Uh, let's try this one. No, no, I don't think it's working. Nope. So that's the downside. I can't use sound effects or videos or anything. However, it does give the loony left a chance to come over here. Cool. I've just started. I'm just wanted to lose my shit over welfare and voting and Congress and voting and all this good shit because, and I didn't do a time or outline this time. I'm doing this off the cuff. What I ought to do is have my Google open and just find news stories because, or my Facebook is always a good source of stupid. I've been recording those lately just so I have, it on record. I don't believe people in the future are going to understand how stupid people were. I had, I can't remember who sent the link. Someone going on about some tattoo on that idiot's hand. It doesn't matter. The tattoos, none of that matters. He was found by two judges to be a member of MS-13. He's home now. What they do with him there, that's his problem or their problem. Hmm. Oh, my camera just take a dump. Huh. Hold on. Weird. Trying to figure out. No, now it's locking up. That would explain it. That's open. Yeah, I think it's time for a new computer. Oh, that guy's a moron. Yeah, the tattoo on his hand, and he said, It doesn't matter. I don't care. He's gone. He's home. What they do with him when he's home, I don't care. I'm not from El Salvador. One of my videos, I showed Rich my green card, which isn't green, by the way, which I didn't, but I showed him my green card for Brazil, and I told him to shut the fuck up. I'm 74 years old. Well, that just proves that, with age doesn't always equate to wisdom, but stupid can be eternal. It's kind of like that old saying, beauty is skin deep, but ugly is to the bone. Yeah, kind of like that. Probably won't be on long. I just because I'm going to be training karate tonight. Trying to figure out why. Why my camera dies when I do something else. And I've been putting a lot of China stuff in my videos because the loony left, every time I post my books criticizing socialism, communism light, as I like to call it, and full blown communism, they come back with, well, China's doing great. China is damn near bankrupt, and they're having protests, and one uh, uh, one of their officials was just beaten to death. So yeah, that doesn't scream booming economy. And then Robert Rich today, I nailed him too because somehow Trump's getting attacking people's civil rights. Nobody can tell me which one. They always bring up abortion, but that's not a right. Stupid. Never was, never will be. Um, then they talk about gays and all that stuff. We're not supposed to know you're gay. Stupid. That's not a right either. Gobbling cock in your bedroom isn't a right. You can do it in your bedroom. You just can't do it in public. Gobbling cock is, your thing. Do it in your bedroom. Nobody will know. We don't need to know about it. If we didn't know about it, we wouldn't have to pass laws, which actually go against the 1964 Civil Rights Act to, so you don't get fired because you want to tell everyone you gobble cock. That's your problem. Trump's 100 days. I just Googled Trump's 100 days just to see how many came up. Let's see. World Economic Forum. Hmm. Yeah, 2 million. Of course, Rich was upset that a woman was deported with her 2 kids. So I guess now Rich is for separating families because the kids were citizens. Yes, they could have stayed. The mother wasn't. She couldn't. So I guess Rich is, or Dick, as I like to call him, is all for separating families now. Weird. Let's see. Looking at what they say about Trump's first 100 days. President Trump will bring a pledge to tear up horrible trade agreements. His campaign. Yeah, good deal. Climate change. Mr. Trump has pledged to pull the United States out of the Paris Agreement to limit the effects of climate change. They're not limiting shit. Okay, China isn't part of it. The biggest polluters, none of them are part of the climate accord. Weird, huh? Foreign policy. President Trump will be under pressure to reassure allies that America remains committed to their defense. Why are we defending other people's countries? They may not get the reassurance they're looking for. He has suggested NATO is no longer fit for purpose. No shit. This is the third European war we've been gotten involved in. How about you Europeans take care of your own shit for a change? George Washington warned us of this in his farewell address, which is in one of my books. Healthcare. In August, Donald Trump gave an interview to Fox News in which he said, Barack Obama, I think he's the worst president maybe in the history of our country. I don't. Joe Biden, yeah. Well, okay, yeah. Barack Obama, because actually he was probably running things. Uh, yes, the World Economic Forum is not happy with Donald Trump. Not that I care what Charles Schwab says anyway. Fuck Charles Schwab. Yeah, she could have, because they were born in America. She could have left him here, but she decided to take him with her. Okay. Then again, you shouldn't have come here illegally. You could have come legally got a job and did what millions of other people have done and been able to stay. Unless you're like a terrorist sympathizer. Yeah, the left's complaining about what's I can't even remember his name because I don't want to spit on my mic. But the terrorist sympathizer from Columbia University who was destroying property and threatening Jewish students. Yeah, they're mad because he got deported. Got news for you, dickheads. Um, if you're going to be a terrorist sympathizer, they can yank your green card anytime they want. Brazil can yank my green card just for farting in the mall. Guess what? The United States can do the same thing. You're a guest of the country you're in. Immigration is not a right, you fucking retards. Yeah, you kind of just when they say stuff, you just want to reach through the computer and just slap them. They're fucking, and you're hoping like if they hear it out loud. That's why I do like I copy their stuff and put it in so they hear it. You're hoping like if they hear it out loud, they go, wait a minute, yeah, that does kind of sound stupid, but nope, no, it doesn't sink in. No, that doesn't sound stupid to me at all. Um, I had one today. They them. Well, you should respect people because I was talking about why our kids are so stupid. Well, um, if you're an English teacher and you have to ask a kid's preferred pronouns, you shouldn't be teaching English. If you're a science teacher and you're telling a kid they can be the other gender, you shouldn't be teaching science. If a student says my pronouns are they them and you don't correct them, you shouldn't be teaching math or English because they them is fucking plural. Hi, I'm your English teacher, Mr. Armstrong. Hi, my preferred pronouns are they, them. You just got an F. You people do realize that 40% of high school graduates in the United States cannot read above a sixth grade level. That's not by accident, folks. Um, Google, well, we have Muslims here, but they mind their business because the police will just beat their ass. I've run into them. Just like we have gays here, but they don't go around flaunting it and telling everybody, "Hey, I gobble cock." You can kind of tell, but they don't go around, asking for special privileges. Hey, I gobble cock. I just thought you should know. Hey, I didn't ask, so why don't you shut the fuck up? We were about to be friends, but now I just don't fucking. I wonder if I have to press the button. I'm trying to see if I have to use the talk button on here, like I do the software. I can't tell. Software. Nope. I guess I don't. Cool. I can't tell. Software. Nope. I guess I don't. All right, that works for me. I was pressing the button like I do with the software, the talk button. I have it set up that way because as I'm reading other people's stupidity, got the coffee tonight. I might actually do this, but maybe I'll get a like an outline to put on the side instead of. I like the music and stuff, and the fact that I can use AI and stuff like that. But this might be the way I might go, and I'll just do premieres with the software like I've been doing. Been working on rewriting my book on long range shooting because when I first wrote it, that was the second book I ever wrote. That was back in 2012. I wrote it like how I shoot, very simple, like I don't know, it has like 60 pages or something in it. But it didn't get into like ballistics and stuff. So you understood how it worked. And now I'm rewriting it. Like I'm up to like 30 pages on just ballistics alone. So as I wrote it very simply, how I shoot or how I understood stuff, right? Very simple. And now I'm getting into ballistics, new technology too. There's new technology out there. They do simulations now on rifles and barrels and everything, and they have a new measurement for harmonics, which people don't know, barrels have harmonics. That's why when you set your barrel against a tree, don't set your barrel against a tree. Set like the stock against a tree, brace it, and make sure you have room between the barrel and your stock. So, because you don't want to mess with the harmonics because it'll throw off the bullet. That's why I like it's called a free floating barrel. You want your barrel to float free. And you'll see if you Google fiberglass, how to fiberglass your stock for, stock weld and stuff. I haven't done that in years. It's been, well, when did I retired in 2010? Probably my last gun project. I refurbished a Mossberg 98 carbine from South America. Wasn't an original German. It was South American. It was like a Frankenstein put together, It was kind of cool though. I've never worked on a Mossberg before. Or not Mossberg, Mauser. And it was kind of cool. I know what that, that ring in the stock is for. It's to take the firing pin out of the bolt. They had to put a whole new part on the gun just to take the firing pin off the bolt. But the action on those are smooth. If I were going to get a hunting rifle, and I could find a stock that would, or a scope that would fit it, that would be a good hunting rifle. I liked I had a AR-10 7.62 by 51. That was good too. It was because it had the free float barrel, and it's heavy though. It was made from all steel. Like most AR-10s have plastic foregrips and stuff. Nope, this was steel, and it didn't touch the barrel, so you had good harmonics. And man, I could reach out like 800 yards with that. Well, I wasn't a presidential. Uh, I worked for corporate, like people that they drove limousines and stuff, but I didn't work for the president. I worked for contractors. So you put together a 4 or 5 man team, and I was trained by a Secret Service agent. That's right. I retired, but yeah, uh, I had to learn how to drive a limousine and all that good shit. But no, I didn't work for the government. I did do protection detail for President Bush during the Republican National Convention, but I mean, I was so far out in the ring of security that I did see his helicopter. He didn't know I was there, but no, I worked the civilian side of it. Pain in the ass. Like I've heard Hillary Clinton was a bitch from, but yeah, these people are, and well, I can't talk about names and stuff, but yeah, these people are like, well, they get me, they get me. Yeah, motherfucker, but if they get you, they're gonna get me too. Okay. Oh yeah, because there's no expectations of behavior for civilians. Like like a president, they have to be kind of, lower key, or a politician, or they might, because, obviously they're running for election. Civilians, famous civilians, and rich civilians are assholes because they think they're special because they have security. Look at this. I'm a, I'm not a politician and I have security. No, your dad has security. He paid us to be here. And then I like to work in solos for, we do stuff for like abused women or stalkers. And I kind of enjoyed those because, I hate stalkers and abusers. Can't stand them. I'd be more than happy to, kneecap one of them fuckers. But we had one, and I can't mention names, but he would follow her everywhere she went. So what we would do is we had, she'd come home from work. He'd be sitting down the road. He could not be within 500 yards of her. So he'd be sitting down the road in his car. We can't do anything legally. So he'd sit there and watch her house. So We drive her home, or I drive her home. We had like 2 guards on her. Drive her home, walk her in the house, right? Sneak her out the back to another car where she would drive off so she could have some alone time. And then the guard, we would go out front and stand there like we were still guarding the house. And she'd go off and go shopping or do what she was going to do. Of course, there was another agent following in another car, but she had her alone time and we were still doing our job. So he'd sit there and stare at us for hours. Those people are fucking creepy. Those are the ones that are dangerous too, because they escalate. You know what I mean? Like they think this person loves them. But they don't even know who they are. Creepy stuff. They put the lotion on the body, or they get the hose. But I got to go to the wife's home. I just wanted to try live stream, and next time maybe I'll have an outline. Oh yeah, pedos. Well, a lot of them are. They they have like sexual deviancy. So yeah, a lot of them are. But yeah, I got to go to the wife's home. I'll say hi. Missouri Rob's on.
Hola.
Hola. See you. We'll see you later, Rob. I just wanted to try this to see if it worked better. I think I'm going to use this. I just can't do videos and stuff, which is fine. I don't care. Oh, he says hi. Hola. Oi. ¿Cómo va? So, all right, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get something to eat. Ciao.